Okay, don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move.
Welcome to Namibia, a beautiful but rugged country located in South Africa. The home of two deserts, Namibia is one of the driest countries south of the Sahara. Having recently experienced one of the worst droughts in 90 years, Namibia continues to face challenges related to persistent drought. And yet life persists and even thrives in this harsh environment. And that is what drew me to Namibia, specifically northern Namibia, into the Etosha Pan and Etosha National Park. In a dry, arid environment where you would think nothing could live, you find life, and you find life abundantly. So come with us as we tour Etosha.
I want to show you a couple things here. We just got here. We're right outside of Etosha National Park. It took us all day long to get here. It was a 5-hour drive up from the capital of Rhino. We're staying at Dorado Lodge, which has a couple of really great things about it. But first, I'll show you some original OGs from the farm, OG goats. Now, if you ask the question, why would I come all the way to Namibia and look at goats and sheep? Why wouldn't I just go look at the great wildlife that's here? Because I do have a genuine interest in agriculture. And I've been looking at the different agriculture aspects that I can see across this country all day. There's a lot of cattle raised here. And of course, there's a lot of brush type space that as soon as I got off the plane and started driving around the country, I quickly came to the conclusion that this would be a great habitat for goats.
The Dorado Lodge is really nice. We like it. It sits about 15 minutes right outside of Etosha National Park. And I think this would be a great location for us to base ourselves out of for the next few days while we're here.
Morning. Okay, so it's our first full day in Namibia. We're going to get breakfast and then we're heading up to Etosha National Park. It is cold, about 38 degrees. So it is a chilly morning out here. I wasn't expecting this cold temperature. I didn't really bring the right clothes for it. It's supposed to warm up later this week, but today it's going to be brisk.
Knowing that you're going to spend the entire day in a national park, every meal counts, and the breakfast was pretty good. I really enjoyed the simple meats and toast and bread. It was really filling, and it was what we needed to get us started on our first day in Etosha. But first we had to leave the Dorado Lodge compound via the automated gate.
So we're in Etosha. We had to go through 2 checkpoints to get to this point. I don't film going through checkpoints because I don't like to, never film going through checkpoints. It just makes security and police officers a little shaky. The first checkpoint, we took down all vehicle registration. The second checkpoint was we actually with the Namibian police. They asked if I had a drone. I said yes. They took the drone, sealed it in the bag, and when I leave the park, they will unseal my drone for me. So there will be no drone shots from me while inside of the park.
As we get ready to head out from this point, we have to drop the tire pressure from 2 bars down to 1.8 because from this point on, it's all gravel and sand driving. The main reason that you're dropping your air pressure is to get you more traction and a smoother ride as you drive across the gravel and the sand.
One of the coolest parts of Etosha is right here, which the entire park is around this massive pan, which looks like an ocean that dried up. It is completely flat. There's nothing out here, and just as far as you can see, there's nothing. Just sun shimmers. It's like an ocean of sand out here. It is really eerie. It feels like you're on a whole nother planet. So yeah, this is the pan. It's a salt pan. It's dry most of the year, except when the heavy rains. There's some areas will, collect and hold water, but this feels like I'm on a planet, not Earth. So this salt pan, Etosha Pan, at its widest point, it's over 100 kilometers across, and it's about 4,000 kilometers square. Just a massive location out here. Absolutely beautiful though.
The Etosha National Park covers an area over 22,000 kilometers, and the word Etosha means Great White Place. The park was first proclaimed in 1907. Wildlife is drawn to the Etosha Pan due to the abundance of natural springs that occur around the rim of the pan. The natural springs explain why there is so much wildlife found at Etosha National Park, but it is still very surprising to see the abundance of life. I've never seen zebras so fat, nor ostriches that look so healthy with a beautiful plumage. Etosha is covered in thorns. This is a result of all of the herbivores constantly eating the plants. Predation on these plants have led to plants that have evolved thorns, and I mean massive and aggressive thorns. Any environment that would have so many herbivores will also have apex predators, and Etosha has plenty. African lions, cheetahs, servals, leopards. We didn't see any of them, but we did look for them throughout our entire time at Etosha. In particular, we were told to search the tall trees that surround the watering holes. Many of the large cats often take their kills to these locations, and although we saw many beautiful tall trees, we didn't see any of the large cats. There are two animals that dominate the Etosha landscape, one being springbok and the other one zebra. We saw so many zebra. There are two types of zebra found in Etosha, one being the plains zebra, which is the more traditional black and white that everyone is familiar with, and then there is the Hartmann zebra, which has a bit of a black-white with tannish coloration on it. This zebra is a perfect example of that, although we did see plenty of both.
Okay, so Etosha is a massive national park. We've been driving around how many hours now? About 3 hours. We've been going. We have seen some wonderful animals, a lot of great wildlife, but this park is massive and it's empty. There's rules about not getting out of your vehicle, which we will not do. We will not get out of the vehicle. We're in an area now where there's a lot of low shrub brush and a lot of low grass. There's a lot of zebra and springbok out here, but it's really great. But you have to be prepared for an isolated experience, just kind of by yourself, and be comfortable with that and be comfortable with being in wide open natural environments. I mean, we're down by the salt pans, so it's just really flat and open out here. You have to be comfortable with like open spaces. But some people will love it, others would not be comfortable in this environment. Okay, so another thing, keep going. The driving conditions out here are pretty rough. This is why you need a 4x4, four-wheel drive vehicle. You definitely need that if you're coming to Etosha. If you're doing self-drive through the safari, through this park, you definitely need that 4x4 vehicle. The roads are pretty rough.
If you're not comfortable with isolation, I highly suggest taking a guided tour through Etosha. Those are wonderful options, and it gives you more human interaction throughout the day if that's something that you would be looking for. However, Blair and I were really interested in a self-drive safari. We recognize that Etosha can be done in a self-drive fashion, and that's something that we really were interested in, and we managed to pull it off pretty well. Our first sighting of an African elephant was very impressive. It was a large bull elephant, and across Etosha, bull elephants tend to roam solitarily across the entire park. Our most impressive sighting on the first day in Etosha was of a black rhinoceros. Although named black, the colors actually range from brown to gray. Critically endangered, there are subspecies that have already been declared extinct, including the western black rhinoceros. It was such a privilege to see one in the wild. If you love wildlife and if you love nature, trust me, you will love Etosha.
So we're in one of the special areas that's fenced in inside of Etosha, where you can actually get out of your vehicle, and we're walking to one of the watering holes. We've seen a couple of really nice ones. I hope this one is good as well. Some of them don't have any animals at them, but I'm hopeful that this one will be as good as some of the rest. This one is really cool because they're elephants. It's the first pack of elephants that we've seen all day long. All right, let me show them to you. Okay, so those were some really, really beautiful elephants. I've never seen that many elephants before in one place. So that was really a great treat. I didn't want to talk too much up there. A lot of people were filming. A lot of photographers were there. Okay, so we just finished our first day in Etosha. Blair, what's some of your first quick takeaways from today?
Get up early and go to the park. The park opens at sunrise, so try to be there or soon or right after sunrise as possible.
Yeah, so first thing we noticed that the sunrise happened late. The sun didn't come up till almost 7:40 this morning, so at 6 a.m., 6:30, it was still pretty much pitch dark. But you want to be getting prepared, eating your breakfast early. The sooner you get there, the better, because the sun is going to get really bright as the morning goes on. Another thing that I noticed was, well, first, you can absolutely self-drive Etosha. You can do this safari all by yourself. You don't have to have a guide. You can pay for your own way into the park. You pay for your vehicle, and you just kind of go, and you definitely need to buy the maps. There are maps available at the park. There are two. I would suggest buying both.
The maps are really good. One had a really good actual physical layout of the park. The other one had actual photos of the animals that you'll see in the park.
So even if you decide to drive to the park on your own and then you want to book a tour, you can do that when you get there. But if you book in one of the tour vehicles that's an open top or is completely open, those look really cool and all safari-like, but the park is very, very dusty. So we saw people all day long in those, and they're covering their faces because there's so much dust. They were just getting, cars would go zooming by, and they would just get covered in dust, layered and caked in dust. Our windows were up. If we weren't filming something, our windows were up. We still got covered in a sheen of dust. So be prepared for that. It is a lot of dust being kicked up throughout the park as vehicles are moving around all day long.
Definitely go and check out the watering holes. We can't tell you which specific one to go to because everything is going to be different. We thought we were going to go to a couple of water holes in particular. We went to those, didn't see anything. And then some out of the way water holes or also along the path water holes, we saw everything that we could have imagined.
Wild animals, they move around, they don't stay. So some days they like this water hole, some days they like that one. You're going to see things as you drive through the park, so be looking left and right as you're driving through the park. But definitely buy those maps and target those watering holes. Go to the man-made, go to the naturals. They're all good. We're in the park from about 8 a.m. to right at 6:30. We left right as the park was closing at 6:30 p.m.
But it was well worth the stay. We enjoyed all our time. Even when we were sitting around like eating our lunch, we ate at one of the camps and we started bird watching because there were all types of birds that were just around.
Yeah, so we saw giraffes, lions, tigers, bears. No, but we did see a lot of the really great, we did see a lot of really great animals at the park. And we have a checklist because we bought the maps. The maps also have checklists. And as we see different animals, we're checking them off. And that kind of makes it a lot more fun and more of an experience overall. So, hey, we're going back tomorrow for day 2. Morning, so this is day 2 at Etosha. We're finishing up here. We're about to check out the resort. We're gonna eat breakfast, then we're going to check out here back to Etosha. I broke my camera yesterday, so we have to go 90 kilometers back south to a larger town of Oju to see if I can buy some glue to fix my camera. So things happen. But first we're gonna go back into Etosha this morning. We're gonna head to the other side of the park today and see what else we can pick up. Really enjoyed the breakfast here at the Dorado Lodge, but the dinners have been better because every night they've served, oh, that sun is just beaming. Every night they've served some type of game meat. Last night it was eland and springbok. The night before that we had another type of game meat. It's all wonderfully prepared. Getting into the park is a 3-tier system. First you stop, do your vehicle registration. About a kilometer after that, you go through a police checkpoint, and then about 17 kilometers after that, you get to where you need to stop to pay your fees for actually entering the park.
Etosha has multiple entrances. Every day we came in through the Anderson Gate.
Mac is filling out the paper now for the park permit.
So you get your vehicle registration slip. You need to hold on to this for the rest of the day. You will need it to get out of the park. Once you pay your fees, it'll be stapled to this. You will need this form to exit the park. If you don't have it, you're gonna have to go back in. They're not gonna let you exit. Just like yesterday, we have to go back in and pay for our park entry.
Under a tiered system with international travelers paying the most, our park fees cost us $350 a day, Namibian, which is about $20 USD.
While Blair is paying the park fees, there's a tower right here. I was just told that you could climb the tower. Let's go for a mini adventure. Climb at own risk. Hello. Hello. Oh, wow. That's a lot of steps. I just said it's a lot of steps. Sure. Yeah, take a picture. So the view from up here is impressive, but boy, those steps are no joke.
From the top of the tower, you can really get a good view of the Okaukuejo Lodge and the surrounding town area, and you can see the roads as they head out across the park.
The great thing about steps is that going down is almost always easier than going up. Blair should be finishing up with paying for park fees. We're about ready to start our second day at Etosha National Park. There's so many beautiful sights in Namibia. I'm just so glad we chose to come to this location and visit this country. Etosha is just one of the sites that we plan to see here. So hey, be sure to check out our other videos as we cover the rest of our trips and travels across Namibia.
Come on, let's go find it.
For the second day in Etosha, we decided to head west, and we headed into the western part of Etosha, away from the Etosha Pan. Now this day was filled with a lot of beautiful sights, but also miles and miles and kilometers and miles of endless open this. And just as we were beginning to wonder if we would ever see anything after hours and hours of endless driving, we came across a beautiful family of African ground squirrels. As we headed deeper into western Etosha, away from the Etosha Pan and away from the abundance of watering holes, the ground became drier and sandier, and animal sightings became few and far in between. However, I felt confident that when we reached a watering hole, we would be truly impressed by what we would see. And I was not disappointed. The watering hole was teeming with life, and as I expected, in this dry, barren part of Etosha, any watering hole would just be a magnet to any wildlife in the area, and that was absolutely what we saw. It is also where we had an exchange with an African bull elephant. As we sat in our vehicle, the animal came close to us, and I recognized exactly how small and insignificant humans can be next to such large and majestic creatures. There are approximately 415,000 African elephants left in Africa today, and although poaching has been trending downward, poaching still puts pressure on the species, driving them closer to extinction. Again, it is a privilege to be able to see such a majestic creature in person.
So this is finishing up our second day. We're now about to head about 5 hours north to the north of the country into a town called Apua, and we're going to go visit the Himba tribes up there. So that's where we're heading next. So make sure you watch that video when it comes out. Hey, if you like this, be sure to like and subscribe. Follow along with us on our journeys, 9 before M, the family adventures.